There's all sorts of wrangling taking place, as we've just heard. Lots of naked self-interest, and the owners are quite transparent about that. They don't want to be relegated from the Premier League, which is the promised land, the honey land of all this money. And so we've got these wranglings taking place. The big thing seems to be this whole: do we play in a neutral venue to reduce the strain on other important vital services at this time, or are clubs allowed to play at their own stadia? Of course, the Bundesliga showing the way in terms of teams playing at their own stadia, and so teams are worrying about this. What happens when games are behind closed doors, though? Well, there's no fans there to shout and support and get behind the team, but also to influence the referee. And so past research has shown that the referee is the main way in which home teams win more home games. They make more decisions. And so it's almost certainly the case that home advantage is going to be reduced, even if teams play at their own stadiums, because, well, the fans aren't there to influence the referee. We've done some number crunching, and we find there's about half a yellow card less for the away team in games that have been played behind closed doors historically. So it's going to make a difference, however the game goes back. And it's not clear how this brinksmanship plays out by these bottom six clubs in the Premier League. I think the revenue drives everything, right? It may well be that the Premier League might say, well, hey, let's take the consequences of cancelling relegation this year. If the TV companies weren't threatening the millions and millions of pounds, hundreds of millions of pounds that come in from television, because seriously, why would we tune in if there wasn't any relegation consequences of the last few matches of the season if they restart? The Premier League is heavily dependent on television revenues, and so those are what are really driving things. In the lower leagues in England, it's much different, because there isn't the television money, it's the gate money, and if that can't come in, then there's really very little point in putting on the games, because all that would happen is you lose any compensation for the cost of putting on the games, because, well, you can't bring any fans who can then bring in some money, some revenues to recoup the cost of putting on these matches. So the money talks, unfortunately.